Thanks everyone for joining today's session. Welcome to the Apprenticeship Illinois Lunch and Learn series. Today we're hearing from LWIA 15 and promising practices in their area. With that, Michael is from LWIA 15 and he'll be presenting today. So I'll go ahead and give the floor over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Jordan. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. I appreciate the opportunity to share. There's been so many things that have been shared previous to us, so I don't want to really go over those things. I think those can stand as is. We just wanted to add maybe some interesting things in our area that will maybe shed some light on some uniqueness. And as Jordan said, depending on where we are, we're either lower or downstate. So it just depends on who you're talking with, and so yes, we do get that a lot. So today we're just going to go through a quick ideas of what we have did, and I remember when I first started, somebody said, "Well, you want to be successful," and I said, "Well, yeah," and they said, "Well, you got to do three things. You got to be brief." Be bright and be gone. So I promise I'll be brief and I promise I'll be gone and give you back the rest of your day. Whether I'm bright or not, I'll leave that up to you. And I hope that someone will take away something from this as well. Could we go to slide 2, David? Perfect. Thank you. So we're going to start here. These are some of the ones that we have been working on here. And so I just wanted to share just a couple of points with each one of those, and then we'll just move on from there. So Air Ace, when we started that one, we started listening to the folks and figuring out what they needed and what they needed. They're a small shop and they needed to be able to work in teams so that they could respond as, HVAC response 24 hours a day, 365. And the point being is that they needed to do some standardizations and make sure that everybody's trucks were the same, so that regardless of who picked up the vehicle or who helped on which team, they would be able to have the things that they needed and could work together quickly. So through that, we developed some ideas, some 5S and some Lean Six Sigma and some other things. And then we were able to build that into an apprenticeship. And so then they've customized that. So they're not just doing HVAC, they're customizing it based upon their needs. So they're doing a little bit of electrical and other things to go in there. So it took us a while to get that right. And then it was hesitance because it was a small business. So you got to go as Tori Davis, who's our regional person here. He says, you go at the speed of business. So sometimes you're going to go fast, sometimes you're going to go slow. So that one is now up and running. The next one, Kinsel Trucking, they come from a very small area in Fulton County, which Canton is the city that or community that they're in. And it's very, very small. So they're having trouble finding people. So they're going to try to grow their own and get someone that can begin to learn the trades. So we just started that one and we're working through that with the high school. And then the next one, Messy Roofing, I like that one because it's they're doing returning citizens. And for me, that's a special passion to make sure that everyone gets a shot at opportunity. And so we started to create that one there. They're doing their training and then they're using the internet based learning to do the RTI. So that one has got a little bit of a different twist with the group that they're working with. The next one, Peoria Public Schools. I think the key to all of this is being outside of your comfort zone. So Peoria Public Schools contacted us in July of last year, and they wanted to do an apprenticeship model through teaching or training teachers to remove the shortages. And so it took us a journey to get there. We just launched in January the K through 12, and then in the fall, we'll continue that. And we're also going to add a special ed. And in fact, I've got a call with them today to make sure that all the paperwork is correct and working. So that's just another interesting way to fill the gaps that we have in our communities. I'm sure that's for everyone's an issue as well. Some of the ones that we're still exploring and working on is quality pools by design. They're looking at customizing and building pools to meet people's budgets and their needs, but they need workers. So how do you build workers? It's a mom and pop organization. The husband works at Caterpillar, and this is a side business that they're creating as a family type thing. So they're very interested in building that out and how you go about it. So we're in discussions with that. Again, what's really neat is you're helping small businesses that create and can sustain themselves and learn as they go. So it's fun to just kind of bounce things off of them, and they get to bounce things off of me, and we just keep building there. Village of Bartonville, that is a small community, just a little bit probably a few minutes from us, maybe 4 or 5 miles from us. And they are always in need of CDL. And so after looking at the data, we were like, well, how about if we empower that? So once they get their CDLs, which they're currently going through now, we will upskill through a registered apprenticeship operating engineer. We looked at their needs. They repair bridges, maintain roads, things like that. So it would be a perfect fit. A lot of people were getting their CDL and then moving on because they didn't feel like they were growing. So hopefully this will allow them to keep the people that they're training, as well as the people will get meaningful work with growth that they're looking for. That's the same with JC Dillon Plumbing. They are a major construction firm here. They do a lot of big industrial as well as commercial. Same thing there. They needed CDL, and they're also looking at expanding so that they'll get people that can do the operating engineer side as well. Next slide. So we're looking at the incumbent worker training assistants. We're looking at apprenticeship technical assistants. I think what we're trying to do, one of the things in our area is people think of us as the money people. We're trying to change that perspective and realize that we can also provide the technical assistance. But when people kind of put you in a box, that's what people will think of us. So it's a learning curve like anything, but we're pivoting into that realm as well. And we like to say when people talk about apprenticeships, they'll usually have preconceptions. Like one group we were at, healthcare, they said, well, it's really hard. We've heard it's really tough. So David and I created this slide. Apprenticeships are pretty simple. They're based on three buckets. They're the competency based, which is the registered apprenticeship. Then it's the coursework where you choose where you're going to get that from for the RTI. And then there's the compensation. And when you reduce things down to simple things of three, it seems like people get them very easily, and it takes the fear out. And I think you have to take the fear out before you can move forward. Otherwise, the noise in their head about apprenticeships, they're either not really going to listen or they've already made up their mind. So you have to kind of uncover those needs up front. And then we've gone to this integrated business service team. The idea is so many people go out and visit each of these companies. What we're trying to do is be a one-stop shop, so to speak. I know that's not original. We use that in other ways, but the idea is whether you're growing your business or your business is in decline, you can call us as a reliable source, and the team will be broad enough to meet your needs. Whether you're looking for a TIF, you're looking for building fund, you're looking for expansion, promoting your business outside of the community, whether it be economic development, that there'll be all these different folks that can be on the team so that you come to us as a trusted team. We build the relationship with you during the year. So hopefully then you'll feel confident to reach out to us. And of course, then the red team, their unique stuff that they bring to the table as well is available to us. Next slide, please. So everyone did a really good job of these. These are just our partners, again, supporting the local colleges, again, being that resource that nobody can do it alone. We all have to be in this together, and we all provide our unique skills. So that's just a brief one there. I wanted to talk more about the actual meeting itself, because everyone else has done a really good job of laying this all out before. So I didn't want to again belabor this. So the actual meeting with the employers, could you go to the next slide, please? So this is kind of what I thought maybe I could maybe add some, hopefully you'll find that to be the case with what does the partnerships look like. So what we're always doing is we're trying to identify key stakeholders. Who are your decision makers within the companies? So that would be like your HR leaders, department heads, executives. Who are your decision makers? They're not always with a fancy title. Sometimes they can be people within the company. So you just got to kind of feel, who do you need to be talking to? Who do you need to be building those relationships? Which that I think is the key on number two. Networking and building relationships are critical. You want to attend local business meetups. We do those through the Chamber of Commerce, our local EDCs, at the community college, then other things that we have at our local civic center, things like that. And I think the key to this is just having regular conversations, establishing those connections so that when you are trying to begin to work together, you've put the time in to build that trust, you have that rapport, and then it's just a matter of getting down to business and solving the issues. And you want them to also to feel comfortable. I always say, when you're building relationships, the first few years are very hard, oftentimes, but then after a while, if you're still having to call people, then you probably haven't got that relationship built to where you need it to be. Hopefully, they'll start to see you like the idea we think of when you think of soup. What do you think of? You think of Campbell's soup. And hopefully that's what we want them to start to think of as a trusted advisor, that we're the advisor that they can reach out to, and we can provide them service in whatever they need. The other thing is, a lot of stuff happens on LinkedIn. Again, it's just having that presence, that footprint. A lot of people will interact and put comments out there and stuff. So it's again just a way to stay in front of your business community and your partners. And the idea, then we've already talked about number four, leveraging that business service team. I think is, again, just, can't emphasize that enough. Next slide, please. So the idea here is I think businesses want to make sure that you're not giving them like a cookie cutter thing. They want something that fits their needs. You might be using some cookie cutter ideas, but making sure that you listen to them first, and you put inside the solution a way that it resonates with them, that you are listening to them, you're hearing their thoughts, you see their goals, those sort of things, and you acknowledge that in your solution. The other thing is the Midwest is kind of like this, and I don't think that's probably one of the things that we like about the area. It's the first thing when you introduce you to somebody, they'll say, you know, are you from here? Then the next thing is, who have you worked with before? And so the idea, if you can share case studies, success stories, it works really well. It helps, again, to break down those barriers and allow you to begin to interact together. In the Midwest, we're kind of slow to adopt things. And I think if you put time into this and build those case studies and stories, then you can hopefully get past that and get down to working with them on their particular issues. The next thing is focus on adaptability. Uh, Things will change in the market. You can't come back 1 year with the same thing that you gave them last year. You're going to have to always be learning yourself. In fact, I have meetings with people, and the first thing they want to know is they want to know about the market, what's going on in our community, where do I see the trends moving forward, and so on and so forth. And so I try to stay up reading the periodicals. I read the Wall Street Journal, Fast Magazine, Forbes, and various different other periodicals, trying to stay up on trends and things that may be relevant to them. Again, they want to see you as a trusted source. And so that's usually how every conversation starts off with. And then you start to learn from them by active listening. Listen to what they're saying, not just what they're saying outwardly, but maybe what you're hearing within their conversation, and then asking questions about that, and getting constant feedback to make sure that you're on the thing. Again, nobody wants a telemarketer. They want to make sure that you are genuinely trying to customize your solution to their needs. Next slide, please. So I think this is really, really important because everybody wants to sell something, or many people a one and done. And I think what we're trying to do is, again, back to that, not trying to beat this to death, but it's very, very important, the trust. And so the follow-up plans, making sure that we're getting in front of them at least twice a year. The reason why is we want to make sure that we've got the results, because a lot of times people will do training, and if you don't, like, it's like cognitive dissonance. You want to reduce that and make sure that they see the value of it, and doing that by having clear metrics to track that progress and that success is really, really important, because you're putting all this time into this. We want to make sure that they see what's coming out of it, and then also having that conversation where these are the things that they want to see. Are we growing customers? Are we entering new markets? Are we retaining employees? What are we doing, and are we doing it well? And then how can we do it better? I think that's the key to that. And then the other idea is continuous improvement. I think George Burns said it really best. He goes, "Get your good better, your better best, and never let it rest." And I think that's what continuous improvement is all about, is being committed to growing and that sort of thing. And so I think Pat Battle, I listen to podcasts too. And so recently on How Leaders Lead by Novak, he used to manage the Yum brands. He had Pat Battle, who I think owns 45 different minor league teams, franchises in the country. And he talks about the passion that it's the customer, and that's the key to all of this. And it's building relationships. And whether you are going into a new market or not, don't be afraid to enter the market, because the business is all about fundamentals, and fundamentals is about people. And when you are managing people right, you'll know it. And obviously they're really good at it, because I think they're going to be approaching 50 minor league teams here shortly. So they're just doing very, very well in that area. And I like the idea. His tagline is there's always a way forward. Just keep moving forward. Have a thirst to learn, ask questions, be curious, and remain optimistic. And I think those are really good things, because getting out and working with the public can be very, very difficult and very challenging. And I think if you just continue doing it, sometimes you feel like you're doing well, and the next day you don't feel like you're doing well. And I think the key is just keep having those conversations. We had one yesterday with Toyota, and I didn't realize it, but Toyota has their own training programs for their dealerships. And so the first thing was I had sent him the stuff ahead of time, and he said, "Well, I don't think I can use any of this. We have our own program." But then I found something that was really important to him, which was growing the community, because when you grow the community, then you have more people that are going to buy your vehicles. And so he wants to work with the local high school and kind of build up somebody who maybe isn't what they're necessarily looking for. So we focused on OJT. And so then he was like, I really like that. That's a winner. I'll talk to the high school about that. Let's do that. And then the next one was interesting. We went back to the apprenticeship side, and he goes, "Well, I don't have time to send people to a school program such as every semester." And he goes, "What do I have to do?" So I mentioned to him the RTI is only 144 hours, as everybody knows. And so he had his calculator out, and he goes, "Okay, that's 3 hours a week. I can do that." I said, "So you can provide the training through the Toyota dealership model, and then we can help you with the apprenticeship." So keep in mind, we started off with, I don't think you have anything I can use. To we left with the agreement to work on an OJT prospect, as well as developing the apprenticeship to align with his Toyota training model. And I think that's the key, is that don't give up. And if they don't want to talk about apprenticeship, leave that one alone. Find out what they want to talk about, which in his case was OJT. We went that way. We came back around, and we got an agreement to move forward on exploring the apprenticeship model as well. So that's all I have. I hope there was some meaning in that. And I'll be happy to give it back to Jordan and ask any questions.
Yeah, happy to open up the floor. Thank you, Michael, for sharing your insights. But yeah, if anyone has any questions or comments, or maybe even stories of like some of the stuff that Michael was talking about that you've experienced and seen good success with in your own areas, feel free to put that in the chat or come off mute. Um, yeah, I'll leave it open for a couple seconds, see if anyone wants to make any comments. I'll go ahead. Let's see. Michael, could you put your contact info in the chat so people could copy and paste it as well?
Oh, yes.
Great.
I have a question for Michael. This is Sarah.
Hi, sir.
Hi. When you were starting your conversations with Toyota, how did you find who to talk to with them?
I went to the mechanic shop, because in most dealerships right now, that is a profit center. Cars are some what are loss leaders in some cases. So I went there, and then I started asking them questions about, because we know there's a shortage of mechanics, and so I started there, and then just kind of let it go from there. So that's a great question. I think the key is doing a little bit of research ahead of time and learning about their business, because when you can kind of tell them a little bit about their business, I think it helps them to be more interested in talking to you in the future.
Thank you.
Now,
I'm curious. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say my contact's on the slide here, if that's okay. Would that be all right?
Yeah, that's fine. We'll post it online too so people can get it there as well. I was gonna say, do you have like a script? So when you're initially making maybe a phone call, if you're not able to get someone in person, um, how do you make what seems like a sales pitch not sound like a sales pitch? Do you have like a script that you use to kind of personalize it? Because, we all get so many, people trying to sell stuff. I'm curious how you do that over the phone when you don't have that face-to-face interaction.
And that's a great question. I think the key is um, having an idea of what you want to say, but going in a way where you're connecting with the person. And so having, kind of the thing you want to cover, but letting that evolve from the conversation. And what I think is really cool about it, and I'm just always so grateful when this works. Sometimes it doesn't work, and it's trial and error, right? Where the person you'll call them later on the second or third attempt, and they'll have your phone number in their phone, and they'll answer it. Hello, Michael, how you doing? And I'm like, I can't believe you remember me. And they said, oh, we had a great conversation last time. I'm always happy to take your call. And I was like, I think that's the key, is find something that resonates with them while you're talking to them and connect, whether that's talking about something with their children, if they like to fish, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be very long, just something brief, so that when they hang up and they get the next call, there's something about your call that they will remember in a positive sort of way, because you're right. So many people are talking at them. Try to make a human connection with them.
Yeah, that's good. And we were talking a little bit before we let everyone in that your region covers a pretty big geographic area. So as far as, do you find that certain approaches work better in different regions that you work with, or do you kind of just, is this approach that you have been talking about kind of work regardless of, urban, rural, different populations, different industries, stuff like that?
Great question, and I think it does work because again, it's all about people. But I also think you want to tailor it, and I think you'll get the feel for that when you're with the person. If they're pretty like in a rural area, try to match your tone, your approach to that individual, and I think you'll feel it once you've been doing it for a while, and then you'll approach it, because I think you want to kind of match their style, regardless of what field they're in, because whether they're in manufacturing or they're in healthcare, they'll kind of give you some signs and then you'll know for sure. But usually, kind of manufacturing is a little bit more low key, a little more rough and tumble than healthcare. But by and large, I think just kind of getting a feel for it when you're talking with them, and they'll tell you what's the best approach.
Any other questions from the audience? Otherwise, we can go ahead and wrap up. There will be a survey after this, so if you could take a minute or two to finish that up as we close out the session, that would be greatly appreciated. Any last comments from you, Michael, before we wrap up today?
No, just great questions that each of you had, and I'm just happy to be a part of that. We've just learned a lot together, and this has been a good experience in being able to share.
Thanks again for sharing your wisdom with us, and everyone, have a good rest of your Tuesday afternoon.